friends. I'm your host, Erin Port, and welcome to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. Life can be overwhelming and busy, so once a week, I invite you to join me, and together we will make simple tweaks to uncomplicate the hard parts of our life so we can spend more time doing what we love. Well, ready or not, here we are in holiday prep mode. But years ago, I made the tiny tweak to give myself a longer runway when it comes to holiday planning, and it has made all of the difference. So I called in my friend Jaclyn, who I've followed for a very long time, to help you. She's a professional organizer from Ohio, a busy mom, and she is a wealth of knowledge. So I am so excited to learn from her, ask her all the questions. I asked her a million. We'll see how much time we have. So welcome to the show, Jaclyn.
Thank you so much. Well, I think you kind of did a little bit of my intro here, but just to kind of give a little bit more of my story and how I ended up where I'm at. But kind of like you, Erin, about 8 or 9 years ago, I started a motherhood blog and did a lot of topics on family, traditions, organization, just how to keep organized as a busy mom. And over time, that kind of grew, and I kind of really focused more on that organization and decluttering piece because I found myself, my friends, everyone I talk to, that when you feel overwhelmed in your home and you feel like you're surrounded by stuff, you just can't function as well. You're just, mentally don't feel as great. Your family is just not operating at its optimum level. So from there, I kind of grew into working locally with people because they started asking, hey, would you mind kind of helping me set up some things in my home, help me declutter and organize? And so it really grew from there where I now go out and work one-on-one, or sometimes with my team, we go in a house together and we help clients, find peace in their home.
I love how that transpired because you are a busy lady. You've got a lot of people that you're helping on a regular basis, and it's really cool to see you transform their spaces and, like you said, give them some of that freedom that they've been missing. So when you think about helping an organizing client with seasonal decor, what is the first step you tell them to take?
So when we are coming and helping out, usually we're finding the seasonal decor in a basement or an attic garage. So our first step is just to make sure we have everything together. We know where all of your pieces are. And sometimes they're not all together as a start. So my first piece of advice would be to gather all of your seasonal decor in one spot. Visually pull it all out. And this is a great time because you're already pulling it out, and it can be a pain to pull it out. So you're pulling it all out and you're visually laying out everything that you have. So you can really see what all that you have to begin with.
I love that. It's so simple, but again, like you forget when you tuck it in all the nooks and the crannies and put it all over the
Mhm.
place. So, what tips do you have for organizing decor so it's easy for people to find because we don't want it all over the place when the season arrives? Do you have any favorite tools or tips?
So, I mean, my process when I pull out all the decor, and hopefully the year before I've kind of organized it well, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I start, and it depends on the kind of style. Are you going to keep all your decor every year? Do you put the same kitchen stuff
Mm.
together? Do you do your mantle the exact same? So I first try to uncover for my clients, what style are you? If you like everything exactly as it is, for putting it away and for organizing it, you're doing it by however you decorate. So you're putting all your kitchen things together, your mantle things together. If my clients are more like, kind of like to mix it up every year, we're going to organize based on the type of thing it is. So whether it's figurines, whether it's mantle, just different garlands, things like that, we're going to put all of that together. And that way you can, again, see everything you have for that type of thing and then decide how you want to organize it.
I love that. I guess I'd never even considered what kind of decorator I was. And I kind of think I'm some of both, where I kind of mix it up just a little bit every year, but I do use the same decor every
Right.
year. But I love
Mhm.
that idea of them putting it based on how you decorate organization wise. That's really smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so for clients who have limited storage, apartments, small closets, minimal attic or basement space, what are your go-to strategies for them?
So first, yes, you have to decide how much space you can give to this particular decorating, whatever holiday it is. If Christmas is your thing, you have to decide how much space you have to work with. You only can, store as much as you have. Um, but when I'm working with my clients who are in smaller spaces, senior living, apartments, and that sort of thing, my first thing is I tell them, take away your year-round decor. So instead of just adding a layer of holiday decorations to what you already have out, you're going to want to swap out things so that you don't have just even more stuff around. So if you have, your usual mantle stuff, you're going to take all of that down because you're putting up your mantle. You're going to swap out your wreath with your holiday wreath. So that's one thing is just to kind of start take away some of that stuff, or you're just adding more and more. And then the other thing I say is just go for the impact stuff. So instead of just a lot of little things around the house, focus on the key areas, maybe a new wreath for your front door, maybe some decorations around your window. You can swap out pillows and blankets. Those are something that's kind of easy to store, especially pillow covers and blankets just kind of go with the colors. So, look for things that can make a big impact, but just aren't going to take up a lot of space.
And I think that's good advice for even anybody as far as like
Sure. Mhm.
subtracting before adding, because it is so easy. I love holiday decor, but come January, when I take it all away, man, I always breathe a sigh of relief because I didn't realize how much visual clutter, and it's great. I love it until I'm done.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's such a
Yes,
good
that we're ready.
reminder. Just take it away, subtract before you add. That's such a good piece of
Yes.
advice.
Yeah. And
Um,
yeah.
Go ahead, share.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing I always tell people, and this again, same thing for everyone, is think about things that can add that coziness and warmth to your home that do not add to more stuff. So, you can, on social media, you can find some really good recipes to like have simmer pots on your stove to get that cozy feeling, change your lighting up, use lamps more. So there's a ways, we crave that cozy feeling at the holidays, and that's kind of why we get the decor out. I mean, it makes it feel, fun and festive, but there's ways to get that feeling without adding, more stuff.
What a good reminder to engage all five of our senses. I
Mhm.
love to listen to holiday music, whether,
Yeah,
if it's while
exactly.
I'm working, I listen to instrumental. If I'm cooking dinner, maybe some of the old big band standards. But yeah, I love that
Love it.
reminder too. What tips do you have? Okay, so as we're pulling things out, I know that one of the things you talk about a lot, in which I love, is this idea of we don't want to organize what we need to declutter, right? Because that's just kind of a waste of our time. So as people are pulling their items out, how do you help your clients declutter and organize during that season?
Well, I think when you pull out your decor, you know what you absolutely love. When you pull out your boxes and you're excited for the certain things, those are the things you're putting out first, is those things that make you really happy, bring joy, and you're excited about. Then you have maybe some of those things that you like, and you put them out. And then you probably have some things that you really not necessarily even like, maybe you've got them passed down, someone in your family gave them to you and that kind of thing. And so you have to think through how much of that stuff do you want to keep, and hang on to if it's something that you doesn't bring you joy, because it is taking up space. So it's really something you kind of have to consider and thinking about and maybe kind of, weighing out your favorite decor versus your least favorite decor and making some tough decisions.
That's such a good reminder. Last year, I made the tough decision to get rid of a nativity set. I had another one, but this one was rather large. And it took me a couple of years to finally get to that point where I could say, like, it's okay to let it go. It mattered more to somebody else, but it was gifted to
Sure.
me. So I felt that pain, but I was able
Yes.
to give it to somebody else who loved and adored it. And I just said, and when you're done with it, pass it on as well.
Yeah, keep going. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
oftentimes, as you said, like holiday decor can be emotional, right? We might have been gifted
Mhm.
it's been handed down. What do you do with a client that's like, I'm really struggling, I feel bad? What do you say to them in those moments?
Sure. Well, I mean, we really have to decide if it's something that they personally love. If it, if they are having, usually it's because they're having conflicted feelings about it. It's not something they particularly love. So we start with that. Then the next question I ask is this like a family heirloom? Is this something that is passed down from person to person, and that you're kind of now the responsible one to hang on to this? Sometimes we find that we end up with stuff because it's kind of a cast off from another family member. It's not that they wanted to make sure that you have it and honor it, but they are done with it. And so we need to separate that out. Someone else decided they didn't want it and they're passing it on to you. Is it because they want you to now carry it on, or is it just because they were done? And like you said, you're hoping that they might have better use of it than you. So if we can find kind of that, and if we know it's a family keepsake, maybe you are holding it on to it for a certain period of time. Maybe there's plans that you're going to be passing it on. So that's one thing where, it can absolutely be hard to get rid of a family heirloom if you know you're kind of the responsible one. So you could ask other family members, around if they particularly want it for a few years. Maybe it's something that can be passed around from different family. Everyone can honor it for a year. And then if it's not something that's particularly special to the family, it's just kind of you inherited, from someone else, then I think it's okay to, make the decision to let it go or find someone else who might want
I'm just now having this light bulb moment as we're
it.
talking about my nativity set because it was given to me by a family member, but they no longer needed it anymore. And I think I
Mhm.
misequated that with a family heirloom when it really wasn't. And so I think that
Mhm.
that's something, such a small mindset tweak that we don't even consider
Right. Sure.
when we're decorating and dealing with these things. This is why you're a professional, I tell you. And do you find as you're organizing, there is a lot of this like mindset that you have to wrap your mind around with your
For
clients?
sure. Yeah. It's a mindset shift for sure. And it's a lot of, I think we don't realize it. I certainly didn't realize it when I started my job. And then I don't think my clients realize how much conversation goes on too in it is we're kind of just talking through things and, again, talking through our mind, like, okay, what makes sense? And we just have never had that time to think about that. You've hung on to things just because. And sometimes we really have to drill down to why are you hanging on to it?
And you almost need somebody else to come alongside and say, it's okay, and give you the permission slip.
Exactly. That's what we tell them. We're giving you the permission to make decisions on stuff, to let things go.
And I feel like this generation, our generation, has more and more stuff than any other generation before. And, when we think about it, we have multiple sets of grandparents, multiple sets of
Hmm.
parents. That can accumulate in a hurry, even precious heirlooms. So
Exactly.
that can be tricky for us.
Yeah. I think, and a lot of time, because we are in the generation now of getting those things from maybe multiple generations, our parents and our grandparents, and we're kind of stuck with that. And so we do feel like the family history keepers with all of this stuff, because now it's in our possession. It's like, are we going to pass this on to someone else, or are we going to be the end of these items? And so that can be hard. But I also tell people to think about how much stuff do you have from a particular family or a person. You don't have to save everything that came from your grandparents or your parents. You save the special stuff. I always say keep the best, let go of the rest. So we don't need to take on everything that came from, our past generations' home or holiday decorations. We need to pick out what we think is going to bring us joy and our family joy, and we can let go of the rest.
Such good reminders. Okay, we're going to switch to a bit of rapid fire when it comes to organizing specific things for the holidays, because I
Okay.
do believe a little organization on the onset can help alleviate stress of like, where's the tape? Or unless you have an
Exactly. Yeah.
8-year-old who's always stealing your tape, which is a whole
Yeah.
nother organizational
It's
problem.
happening. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so best way to organize holiday wrapping supplies.
I Number one, I think it's important to keep holiday wrapping separate from your day-to-day wrapping. All the other 10 months of the year, you don't need to be sifting through your wrapping and, digging around for holiday. So I definitely think to keep it separate. I suggest keeping it with your holiday decorations. If you have room, you can keep it in a bin. I mean, they make a lot of fun products on Amazon, containers that can hold like those long wrapping paper. Keep all of that stuff together. So that way, when the season comes, you can just pull it all out. It's all there. And the nice thing is too, when you keep it all together at the beginning of the season, you can really make an assessment of what you have and then buy what you need to in enough time. And then I like to keep my supplies handy throughout the whole season. I make sure, like you said, to have the tape, to have the scissors, pens, gift tags, all of that together in one spot. And the nice thing too, a little bonus is if you have all this together and easy, so you yeah. So the bonus thing when you have your gift wrapping supplies in one spot and you make sure you have all those supplies I just mentioned is that you can have other people in your family help out. So I always say when you have those systems in place, it makes it easier to kind of direct and lead other people to help you. And the holidays is a time when you need help. So if you have all your gift wrapping supplies and you have a teen or a tween and say, hey, do you mind helping me gift wrap? All the supplies are here. It makes it nice and easy.
And we oftentimes think it's a burden to ask, but I can say confidently, my teenager loves wrapping gifts. And she loves,
Yeah.
like, they love to do that. They get all, and they have all the energy to do it beautifully, where I'm
Sure.
like, slap a bow on it.
Exactly. I know. And sometimes when you pass things on to, you'll be surprised that they do it better and more creative. So I think it's a fun one.
That's so good. Okay. And plus, it's a life skill, teaching everybody how to wrap a
Yeah,
gift.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So, best way to organize gifts that you've purchased so you don't forget and buy
Well,
another one.
right. I definitely think you need to. I've been using for years and years an app on my phone. I think it's called the Santa app. I love it because it allows you to write down, you put everyone that you're buying for, it tells you what stage of the process you're in for each gift. So it'll say to buy, bought, needs to be.
Gosh darn it. I'm so sorry. This has been
Oh,
like
that's
really
okay.
tough today. Okay. The
Yeah.
Santa app. You said to buy.
Yes. To buy, to be wrapped, or bought, to be wrapped, then wrapped all the way through the process. And it's just a fun, you can just kind of check it off as you go. So I recommend that. You could definitely just use your phone, do a notes app. I use my notes app for everything. So certainly could do that. But the same thing, you want to keep track of what you've bought and what you've wrapped. Because sometimes once it's wrapped, you kind of forget, what you've bought. So definitely keep track, write it down.
I love that. And it's always that one you're like, oh, I totally forgot to buy. So but I also, this is always my trick for gifts too, is I put all my Christmas gifts in my Christmas bins that are now empty. So my kids don't ever look
I
in
like that
there.
one.
Where do you put yours?
Absolutely. That's great. Mine, yeah, mine's just kind of stuck in my office.
Okay.
No one
Don't
really
go.
goes into, yeah. Yeah. No, everyone knows not to go. Yeah. Exactly.
I love that. Don't go into mom's
Yeah,
office at the holidays. Although I
exactly.
probably have that one who'd be like, I didn't look. Yes, you did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was guilty of that.
Okay, I know I have a set of Christmas dishes that actually are meaningful
Mhm.
and are a family heirloom. How do you organize holiday dishes and mugs? Lots of people have, that holiday mug that they love, at least I do. What do you suggest?
I think, I mean, using bins, wrapping them, you have to really wrap them carefully. I have holiday plates too, and they're favorites. And I mean, one thing I say, kind of like what I said about decor, is I swap them out with my regular dishes. So I think, when you have these nice dishes, it's one thing to kind of display them, it's another thing to use them because you have them. So I really am all for, we use them as our everyday plates. We have a few that are fancier that we, keep on our display on our table that are more for like a nice dinner. But I say put them out. So I take out my everyday dishes, I put them in the same bin that the holiday dishes go, and then we just flip flop and wrap them carefully for sure.
I love that. And we have lost a plate or two over the years, but never
Yeah,
discount eBay for finding
absolutely.
like an one-off plate because chances are you'll find it. And I think the person that
Absolutely.
gave it to us wants us to use it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's the same thing. Yep.
Great idea. Use what you have and enjoy it. Don't put it off for another day.
Hmm.
Okay, when it comes to holiday cards, I know people get stressed. Not
Hmm.
everybody loves them, but I enjoy getting them. What do you suggest doing with those?
So I was just talking though about this with a group of moms because I think you have to decide what is best for you. And we came up with a lot of different ideas. Um, and I guess I always ask clients who do have the holiday cards, what should I do with them? Should I keep them? It's really a personal decision. But you think about how you're going to use them. It's kind of like anything, whether it's a keepsake, your kid's artwork, that kind of thing. Like, what is kind of the end goal? What do you plan to do with it? Some people will say, you know what, I keep all the holiday cards from past years. I put them in a little a ring clip and I let the kids look through them from years past and they love it. I know I've done that in the past, but then there comes a time where my kids got older, they weren't really looking through them. It really was just kind of adding to clutter. And so at that point, we realized, okay, we don't need to keep old cards. We're not looking back at them. And so we can let them go. So if it's something that brings you joy at the holidays, you incorporate it into your decor, your family does keep them, then I would suggest keeping them organized by year, maybe putting them in a Ziploc bag or punching a hole in them, putting a little binder clip around them, and then putting them on display and like looking at them every year.
I love that reminder. And maybe just even your own holiday card. You could just keep your own holiday card
Absolutely.
or a
Yeah.
basket during the season. And then, with gratitude, you send them on to the recycling center.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
Sometimes we just need that permission slip to say, we enjoyed them and now we're moving them along.
Exactly. And, it's really true with anything is like it had its time, it was used, there was a purpose for it, but we don't need to kind of extend its life if there's no more life left in them.
That's a good reminder. Okay, what do you think, or what have you seen as a professional organizer is the gift that will most likely end up as clutter? I'm very curious.
Um, I would say I see things that are very really a lot it's a home decor that's just very specific. I think that's a really hard one to pick out for someone else. And so I really steer people against that. I would try to buy a decor that's going to fit into someone else's home, even if it's seasonal, because there is a lot of guilt from the gift receiver when you get something that you have to display because it's holiday decor or regular decor. You know that they're thinking, okay, when that person comes over, I need to put it out, or they're going to ask about it, which, 9 out of 10 times no one's going to ask, but you might have that person that does. So I try to steer clear of anything that's just, would require the other person to have to like find a home for it, something that's so big.
That's a really good point. Like everybody's so taste specific. Uh,
Hmm.
and I have felt that before. Like I have to display this now, but it's not really my taste. And that is kind of you just feel really bad. So that's a good
Yeah.
reminder. Okay, what gift would you give someone as a professional organizer besides your services, of
I was
course?
going to say, yeah, a service. I mean, obviously, I really feel like the gift experiences are nowadays just so much more meaningful. And I know I've trended even with my own girlfriends and some family members to do more joint experience gifts. So instead of getting each other a gift, and stressing about it and picking something out that they may or may not like, let's go out to lunch around the holidays or even after the holidays. I think it's kind of fun to schedule something out in January that you can look forward to. So the holidays kind of gets a little bit extended. So I would really encourage that. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're gifting them that you're not going to be part of, but just kind of collectively decide, maybe let's go do something fun instead.
I love that. My grandparents, from a very young age, I share in my book that they never gave us any physical gifts, but every
Mm.
year they got a condo for the entire family to come and spend Thanksgiving with them. And that was kind of just
Oh,
everybody's Christmas, Christmas, birthday, all of the gifts.
sure.
And at their funeral, that's what we talked about. And it's so hard
Right.
sometimes because we want the joy of watching somebody unwrap something. But I remind myself often, like, that's just a tiny moment, but the memories of these shared experiences last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are the things you remember, and you don't really remember. You probably remember a handful of specific gifts in that feeling, but you don't remember every single gift you've gotten, but you do remember your trips and experiences you've had.
Is there been a favorite? experience that you've gifted your children over the years? I'm putting you on the spot.
Hmm. Gifted them. I around the holidays, a few years ago, I tried to just do, and I still kind of try to do this every year, just do one experience with them that really caters to what they like. So
Mm.
whether that's going to see a play, just going out to a fun holiday meal, getting dressed up, going shopping, seeing a Christmas movie. I just try to think of something, and it's not necessarily they open it on Christmas, but just kind of something we try to incorporate around the holidays. It's just to do something. Because as you know, your kids, they vary in ages. Traditions start to kind of shift in what everyone likes because you're trying to appeal to different age groups in your family. So we've kind of moved to more of let's focus on like what each kid enjoys around the holidays and try to do something related to that.
I love that. And then you can kind of lean into what they enjoy and
Mhm.
do that. That's such a good idea. Okay. What would you do if you were prepping? Like, if you had to say to my listeners right now, like, if there's one thing you could do to start prepping,
Mhm.
what do you think it would be?
I would start with opening my calendar and really looking ahead at what's coming up. It's hard to believe because I was even telling this to a group yesterday. There's only 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. Some years we get that extra bonus weekend. So it's when you really start to look at it, the time's going to fill up really quick. So I suggest looking at your calendar, start to fill in those non-negotiables, those things that you know you're going to be doing, whether it's family events, your Christmas Eve plans, all of that, the kids' school concerts. Start filling in all that because then you're going to see what room you have to do the things you want to do, to be able to relax, to do the things you need to do, like shopping and all that stuff. Kind of gives you a game plan.
That's right. And I like to do this stuff now because I always say a plan doesn't box you in. It actually gives you freedom because it helps you to know
Absolutely.
what space you do have for those
Yeah.
must do's and want to's and like to do's.
Yeah. And I think it allows you to be more intentional with your time too. Once you know what you really have, you and invitations start coming in, you can realistically say, is this doable or not? And not just immediately say, oh, sure, that'll work without knowing what kind of time you really have.
Yes. And my favorite thing to say right now before I say yes, and this works for all time of the year, but I think especially for the holidays, let me look at my calendar and I'll get back to you. And
I
even
love
if
it.
it's a yes, giving yourself 12 to 24 hours just to think
Hmm.
about what that yes means is such a good habit to get into because we can overextend and overbook ourselves. And that always makes me turn into a Scrooge. I don't know about you.
Exactly. Yes. And I tell people too, this year, if you need to say no to things, every season's different. What's going on in your life changes. And I would say if you need to say no this year, that doesn't mean a no forever. It just means right now. So don't feel guilty if you have to say no to obligations or, invitations. It just means this isn't the year for you. So
Such a
you have
good
permission.
reminder.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, there was a year, I'll never forget. We normally do Christmas cards, but our adoption got delayed, and I just didn't have it in me to send out a Christmas card. And so I gave myself
Mhm.
permission to not send out the Christmas card that year. I
Yes,
just couldn't bear it. And I think that but guess what? I picked it up the following year, and that's okay.
exactly. Yeah, you got to do what works for you and not you got to let go of the guilt. There's enough things to be guilty about. You do not need to, worry about being perfect in every area of getting ready for the holidays.
That's so good. Okay, as we wrap up, I have two last questions for
Sure.
you. As a busy working mom yourself, how do you prioritize during the holiday season to ensure what matters gets done? You talked about the calendar. Is there anything else that you
Mhm.
do?
Um, I think talking to the kids, and I think you brought this up the other day too, is talking to the kids about what they want to do too. Really prioritizing what is going to bring meaning to everyone in the family and, understanding what is everyone's favorite tradition, what does everyone want to do this year. So that way we're making time for what matters and really focusing on, what the season's all about.
I think that's so true. And there are going to be a multitude of inspirational ideas that you're going to come across on the internet, right? And you're going to see everybody doing
Mhm.
all the things. But what I think maybe as our kids have aged, we have this wisdom that what you enjoy might not be what somebody else enjoys. But
Absolutely.
do what matters to you because that's what makes the holidays magical
Mhm.
for your family.
Right. And I think, going with traditions and really checking in with your family, is this still one that brings us joy? Is it still meaningful? Because it is easy just to keep doing the same thing you've done every single year and then you can end up with grumpy people and tired and all of that. And so, really checking with everyone, is this something we still want to do moving forward?
It makes me laugh because my mom has always done matching Christmas pajamas, and we're still doing them this year. But we chose an alternate store to purchase them from because they used to be, as my 10-year-old said, the
Oh,
really sucky any kind. She's like, they really
yeah.
suck you in. And my kids are older now. They're like, can we have like, and just like allowing your traditions to change and
Right.
morph with your
Evolve.
kids, even. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's a good reminder.
Exactly. Right. And letting them help have input. I mean, they're going to be the ones to continue with the traditions too. And it's going to be years to come where they're going to say, hey, can we still do this tradition? And so if they feel like they've invested and we're part of it, they're going to want to keep carrying it on.
Such a good reminder. Okay, last question I ask every single guest. I'm super curious because they're always so fun. What's a tiny tweak that you've made during the holiday season that's made life easier, lighter, and or more joyful?
Um, Honestly, it's really just been slowing down. It's really been stripping away a lot of the extra stuff. And I think it is just learning to say no, and having just more breathing room, doing the things we really enjoy. And I think, years back with COVID and, we really having to slow down, I think that really influenced, that you don't have to do it all. So I think I have found more joy in just, focusing on meaningful things, but less things.
And I think that's so important. My daughter just got asked when they'd like to do for the JV dance team a holiday get together, and they just had us block it out. And while we have nothing on our calendars for Saturday and Sunday evenings, I just said she could only do it in the afternoon because I want that space, right? And it's okay to
Right.
say no, even if there's nothing on the calendar, because that's where
Absolutely.
sometimes the best magic happens, the holiday
For sure.
movies and all of those sorts of things.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to make time. And I feel like as moms, we're the ones that are kind of that schedule keeper. So we kind of we're the gatekeepers to, is this going to be a crazy, schedule? Are we going to be so busy this holiday season? Or did we allow enough time for some breathing room?
And I did just ask my kids, and they said, we really want to watch all the Christmas movies. Well, that takes time. So we got to block some time out on the calendar.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's the
love
good
this.
stuff.
Okay, Jaclyn. Okay, tell us where you can find you and your organizational services and all of your organizational wisdom because you're going to have way more this holiday season that's going to help people simplify their life.
Well, thank you. Well, on Instagram, my Instagram is Coffee Pancakes Dreams. That's kind of a funny name, but that's where my blog started way back when. And then my website's the same. So it's Coffee, Pancakes, and Dreams. And right now I have a printable a holiday planning guide. So kind of some of the things I talked about, checklists, and just getting yourself organized before the season.
And we will make sure to link that up in the show notes so everybody can gain your wisdom. Of course, put all of the links to everybody or to all of the places there as well. Thank you for sharing. I was dying to hear from a professional organizer so that we could kick off this season on the right tone as people are unpacking things. I hope that we can give you this week, the listeners, the tweak to say, I give you permission to let something go if it doesn't have sentimental value, or to keep a weekend night free, even if somebody asks you to do something, just to slow down and savor the season. Thank you, Jaclyn. If you liked this episode, it would mean so much if you'd share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review so others can find our show. Until next time, you can find me at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram and Facebook.